Show.
Hey, Ernie Johnson here, and I'm joined by Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports.
Welcome, everyone, to this 2K Sports broadcast live from... Hey, Brent, two monster defensive teams tonight, premier stoppers on both sides. You're a former scorer. You like a game like this. What do you have to do to get your points, the challenge of scoring?
You know, some of the great scorers in our league, Kevin, do a great job of realizing when a team has put itself in a team foul situation where they can get to the free throw line. So as that happens, great scorers might put more pressure on the defense to force foul calling. Then you go and get some of those freebies. That can loosen up a few things, especially if your defensive stopper suffers through some foul trouble.
It's always great as a scorer to figure out how you're going to attack them, even though maybe an initial roadblock or slowing you down. But you get so much more out of it when you think around the problem and figure it out and get that angle you want.
And how about as a scorer sometimes, Kevin, putting that aside and playing the game within the game and helping your teammates maybe getting a few more open looks as the attention is drawn to you. Maybe you do your damage a little more subtly, and that's with ball movement, setting up your teammates.
Great point. A look at the San Antonio Spurs opening lineup. Skilled tandem of Leonard and Aldridge at the 3 and the 4. The timeless Parker and Manu are the 1 and the 2. And it's Gasol, and at the pivot spot, manning the middle. Shot from the inbound. Hield can't hit. The Spurs have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. Parker drives in. Outside Gasol. Feeds to Parker. Here's Aldridge, and the dunk by Aldridge.
Well, another poster shot. Aldridge using his size and length to throw that one down hard.
San Antonio on defense, fresh from a win against Portland.
I tell you what, how efficient they were at scoring the basketball, especially for an away game, that was impressive.
Yeah, it was almost robotic, Greg, in this one. They filtered out all the noise and came in razor-sharp precision on the offensive end.
Mills, he's checked in for San Antonio. Hield kicks to Randall. A good finish at the rack off the slick feed.
He might not elevate like some of the other guys on the court, but as we've learned, Randolph knows how to get the ball in the basket. Those are chances almost always you can rely on him to get you 2 points, but the D just enough to keep him out of rhythm.
For San Antonio, they've gone 2 of 5 here, making 40% so far to start out the game. Out of bounds, Sacramento will take possession. The first quarter of action, 2 minutes in. And Greg Popovich has led the Spurs to the playoffs in all 20 of the full seasons he's coached the team. But you know what, Brent? He always gives his players the credit.
Well, Pop knows that the players are the ones who deserve all of the accolades. But there's no doubt that there's an appreciation for the way that Pop continues to put his team and each member of the team into situations where they collectively can compete every year. And it's not about just competing for the playoffs, Kevin. I'm talking about competing for titles. What a run that Greg Popovich has been on. And right now they're like a light switch in the off position. 1 of 5 so far. Not an ideal start.
And a few more points tacked on to their lead in the cruelest way possible.
You're right. Those putback jams sting, don't they? My goodness.
And that is a statement. We're going to keep coming at you hard, even if we've got the lead.
Some changes for Sacramento. Willie Cauley-Stein, he's checked in for Skal Labissiere. Temple comes in for Vince Carter. And it's Bogdanovich in for Buddy Hield. Then for the Spurs, Laverne, he's checked in for Gasol. Gay comes in for LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Green in for Manu Ginobili. Yorgos Papagiannis is checked in for Sacramento. Anderson, he's checked in for the Spurs. And Laverne throws it down.
And that's the kind of play you just do not want to give up defensively. You lose the possession and give up a quick 2 at the other end.
Pass to Papagiannis. Outside Bogdanovich. Outside Hill. Shot clock at 5. Here's Cauley-Stein. Softly drops in the floater. Cauley-Stein's got his first points in this one.
Terrific use of the floater, unguardable really, because you can't do anything defensively to stop it.
Gay dishes to Laverne. It's tipped. Outside Hill. And there's the pass to Papagiannis. Outside Bogdanovich. Cauley-Stein a screen. Bogdanovich passes to Papagiannis. He got an advantage there off the pick and took it right in.
And defensively, you've got to make a greater effort working over the screens.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lazy play right there. You're hoping that the guy misses the shot without really doing your job in challenging it.
And he can do a lot more damage to the rim than that when he wants to.
Oh, you're right. And with the lead they're enjoying, I'm surprised he didn't put a little something extra on that one. Some nice ball movement here by the Kings. Temple, good. The assist goes to Hill. Temple's got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. Here's Gay, and count it. He'll head to the line with a chance to make it 3.
And Gay isn't easy to tie up, using his length and muscle to kind of power through the defense. And when you watch Rudy Gay out there on the court, you see just why he's always been a solid scorer in our league. I mean, any situation, any type of offense, he can find a way to get points, and really one of the more underrated players we have in our league.
DeJounte Murray, he's checked in for the Spurs. And with Rudy Gay, scoring, Greg, has never been a problem for him, has pretty much had the same level of production his entire career.
Yeah, and if you say that about some players, it's considered an insult, but it's a good thing for Gay. Usually will shoot in the mid-40s for his field goal percentage and solid at that small forward position. Also a great ISO game, and nicely done, running the floor well, then attacking the rim.
The exclamation point in transition with the high percentage finish.
And how about breaking out the Statue of Liberty on that dunk?
A nice way to pad that lead a little more, you're right. And so the first quarter is in the books. Spurs lead by 5. And we'll be back right after this. Now the second quarter. Spurs leading by 5. Garrett Temple is out there with Willie Cauley-Stein. Then there's Hill, and it's Bogdanovich in at the 2-guard spot. So that's the 5 in the game for Sacramento.
The plan of attack is obvious. Get the ball inside and go strong to the rim.
And Temple kicks to Papagiannis. To the paint, here's Cauley-Stein. Anderson with the block.
Good intensity on defense. Kyle Anderson using the length that time and timing it well to get the rejection.
He dishes it to Murray. He kicks to Laverne. It's deflected. They get it back. Here's Anderson. And at last, they get one to fall. Anderson's got his first bucket of the night. Now, here's Bogdanovich. He gives the team some steady offense, a bit under 10 points a game. And the call will be against Tony Parker. That's his 3rd foul of the game.
Yeah, looking up at the scoreboard, guys, that's his 3rd foul, and his coach has to consider now sitting him down.
Here's what Sacramento's going with right now. Labissiere's checked in for Yorgos Papagiannis. Carter comes in for Garrett Temple. And it's Buddy Hield in for Bogdanovich. Marcus Aldridge is checked in for San Antonio. Leonard comes in for Kyle Anderson. Zach Randolph is checked in for Willie Cauley-Stein. Here's Hill. Plays it up and banks it in. Hill's got his first 2 points. And, you know, Brent, we know top-level coaching is an all-in affair. Strategy, motivation, working the officials. But who are some of the most complete coaches in the league right now?
Well, at the top of the list is Greg Popovich and what he does. There's no doubt that the way that he has his team prepared on a nightly basis, carrying out the game plan, the way he works the sidelines, as you mentioned, Kevin, Greg Popovich is the cream of the crop when it comes to NBA coaches.
For San Antonio, they have gone 0 for 1 at the line. This is their second trip to the line tonight.
And they've had really good numbers all season from the free throw line.
Free throw drops in for Tony Parker.
And the Kings, for so long, had not been active in free agency. You have to like the moves this organization has made to bring in some vets in the offseason. Randolph and Hill bring a lot of experience and leadership to the locker room.
Here's Leonard, the putback, and it's Aldridge on the follow.
They have been board dominant in this game. That's definitely been a factor in crafting this huge lead.
The Kings trail by 12. Knocked away. And that's out of bounds. Sacramento will retain possession. Well, it's been a heck of a recent stretch for these guys. The centers and power forwards averaging the most points in their position in the last 10 games. Second, LaMarcus Aldridge.
That's as scary a collection of big men as you'd want to see. I mean, game planning for any of them is a challenge because you know how much defensive attention you're going to have to devote to them.
Well, you're building a team. The foundation starts here. Big men who can dominate a game offensively in the low post. Every franchise would like to have one, and this is the cream of the crop.
Randolph, a screen on Parker. Back to Hield. Good. The assist goes to Hill.
And you love how Hield is always ready with his feet set. Once the ball hits his hands, it's off.
Really like that work there in the paint. He has really established a low post presence.
Hill dishes to Randolph. It's back to Hill. And the call will be against Tony Parker. That's his fourth foul of the contest.
And that's his fourth foul. And we're not even at halftime. That is going to limit his playing time and his aggressiveness the rest of the game.
Mills, he's checked in for Parker.
And the next one puts him in the bonus.
Outside Hill. Randolph a screen. 5 to shoot. Shoots off the step back. And off the front iron. And in it goes.
And you can tell the defender not anticipating the step back. He was headed in the opposite direction.
And the Pacers trading away the coveted George Hill. Going into last season, they wanted more of a passer at the point guard position.
And that's the one thing about Hill. He's more of a combo guard than a true point. He keeps his turnovers low, but as far as creating a ton of shots for his teammates, that's not really his game. And I love seeing Labissière sky up for the slam. He really devastates the defense with that athleticism. Yeah, that was the third straight high percentage look the defense has allowed. The defenders have got to start putting bodies on bodies.
Labissière, the screen. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. And just who is providing all the playmaking here tonight? Let's look at the breakdown between the front and back court for San Antonio.
And their guards are taking on the majority of the passing and assisting for the team. Just as you might expect, the bigs doing their part by getting to good spots inside and making themselves available. All right, a chance to check out some stats for Kawhi Leonard. How his last 10 games have gone. He's averaging 6 points a game, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. And he's a threat to go off in any game from anywhere.
I love it when guys tap back into that gift. All these guys at some point were that kind of player in their career. Fun to see it show up here. How about the Spurs clinching their 20th straight playoff appearance last season? An amazing run, more than twice as long as the next active streak. And the longest streak in the league was the Sixers from 1950 to 1971. I think the Spurs are going to get past them.
And that's really a function of the offense not working as it should.
Yeah, maybe lazy play calling or just going through the motions on that possession. This often leads to a bad shot.
And Pau Gasol, the bucket on the assist by Mills. Mills has got his 4th assist in this one. And Greg Popovich tied for the longest streak of consecutive playoff appearances by a head coach.
Well, how about 18 straight 50-win seasons for Pop? Just a remarkable run of tremendous success where you could look at maybe 5 or 6 other opportunities where the San Antonio Spurs could have won another NBA title. You realize young DeJounte Murray was still in diapers the last time that they won less.
The feed now to Gasol. Leonard kicks to Mills. And finished off by Gasol.
How about the authoritative throwdown by Pau Gasol, making his presence felt and rocking the rim.
3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Here's Randolph. That one off the back iron and out.
And the defense is just not very aggressive. Definitely fortunate that the mid-range jumper did not find the bottom of the net that time.
Bogdanovich passes to Carter. Some solid defense from Gay. And so it's the San Antonio Spurs with a 14-point lead as we bring the quarter to a close. And thanks so much, David, and we'll step away briefly, but get you right back out here for this.
And now, the 2K Sports
Welcome
Halftime
back,
Show.
folks. Ernie Johnson here alongside Shaquille O'Neal. LaMarcus Aldridge was the story in the first quarter. He had 14 points and 4 rebounds. Kenny, what was your take on San Antonio?
Well, we have to talk about the unbelievable job they've done rebounding the basket.
And we're just about ready for the start of the
A nighttime glimpse of the Tower Bridge, one of the landmarks here in San Antonio, leading by 14. Here's who Greg Popovich is starting in the second half. Aldridge is at the 4 with Gasol at the 5. Manu is at the 2 with Leonard playing the 3. And it's Murray in at the 1 spot. Hill dishes to Labissiere. Hill kicks to Randolph. Good, and it's Hill picking up the assist. Hill's got 4 assists now tonight.
That's some good interior passing, and that's how you move it on the inside.
And how about breaking out the Statue of Liberty on that dunk?
A nice way to pad that lead a little more. You're right. And with the emergence of Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge has become a secondary scorer in San Antonio. Brent, how do you like him in that role?
Well, I think that's where LaMarcus Aldridge really fits best, even in his time in Portland with the tremendous offensive output he had as one of the Blazers' greatest of all time. He's sometimes not leaned upon as being the primary scorer, even though that low block basically belongs to LaMarcus Aldridge.
Brent, when you were playing in Seattle, those were the best assist years statistically of your career. What led you to become such a catalyst for that offense?
Well, it was interesting just as I finally got an opportunity to start to play with the basketball as a 2-guard a little bit more in Seattle, trying to play a little bit more up-tempo. And again, I'll mention opportunities because of Gary Payton getting double-teamed. It opened up situations for me, Kevin, where I could be a bit more creative as the off guard.
And you love that, didn't you?
I love playing that way. I wish I had more years of doing that, kind of the run-and-gun style that Phoenix employed for most of the mid-2000s with that 7 seconds or less. I could have been agreeable with that.
Now a timeout called by Sacramento, fresh from a win against the Nuggets.
And I know the defense wasn't great, but yet and still, their ability to stay composed was impressive.
Well, it led to a big scoring effort, taking advantage of every weakness. So any possession the defense wasn't aggressive on, they were on the offensive end.
Garrett Temple has checked in for Vince Carter. It's rebounded by Aldridge. Ginobili the pass to Aldridge. And it's out of bounds. They say it was last touched by Hill. This pause in the action gives us a chance to see the teams that have scored the most points off turnovers this month. Number 1, the Spurs.
They're taking advantage of every mistake that their opponents are making. I mean, they're really converting points off those turnovers.
Sacramento making a switch here. Papagiannis has checked in. Hield kicks to Papagiannis. Now here's Cauley-Stein. Defense is right there.
And one of the side effects of the Cousins trade was it did open up more playing time for Willie Cauley-Stein. I mean, immediately he was able to step in and fill those minutes and became a much larger part of their offense.
Hey, Greg, when Cauley-Stein got those extra minutes after the Cousins deal, you could see a change in his play. Much more aggressive, much more confident.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it just takes a clear path to minutes to change a player. Cauley-Stein had been getting better and better before the trade. Having the team believe he could step in was a huge boost in his confidence and his play.
And the call will be against Tony Parker. That will be foul number 5 on him. Sacramento with the ball. 17-point game. Here's Cauley-Stein. Again, the miss by the Kings.
defense has to feel fortunate. Somehow he missed that opportunity, and still there's no reason for them to give up that kind of open shot. Wonderful defense, staying active around the rim and then really putting the shooter in a tough spot.
Outside Hill. Cauley-Stein with the screen for Hield. His three-pointers off the mark.
I'm shocked that didn't turn into 3 points. I mean, he makes you pay on those nearly every time.
Yeah, he can have this kind of output, putting on a one-man show. Aldridge scoring whenever he wants.
The Kings trail by 19.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
Hill has the open look. The rebound by the Spurs. Aldridge has got 5 rebounds tonight. Down low, here's Laverne. And it's blocked. Hill with it. A good portion of the scoring has come from him. He averages more than 18 points a game. LaMarcus Aldridge again. Aldridge has got 11 points here in just the second half.
Oh, great ball movement there.
And you look at this Kings roster, and Greg, you can see the youth movement is in full effect.
Yeah, and Buddy Hield headlines the group as he comes over in that Cousins trade. Skal Labissiere and Willie Cauley-Stein, also a big part of this team's future. And then getting Fox as a rookie to kind of run the ship, another great building block.
Sacramento making a switch here. Bogdanovich is checked in. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Davis Bertans checks in for Laverne. Kyle Anderson comes in for LaMarcus Aldridge. Rudy Gay's checked in for Leonard. And it's Green in for Manu Ginobili.
And he thought he had a clear path to the hoop, but the defense didn't give up on that play and cut him off.
And it's Bogdanovich in the corner. Not really his range, and it's off target.
And a really smart defender there. He just reads the play, wastes no time trying to blow it up.
And what I like best is that he does it completely under control. Really gives the shooter nowhere to turn to.
Skal Labissiere checked in for Sacramento. Carter comes in for George Hill. The Kings trail by 18. At the elbow, Labissiere. From 15 feet away, no good. Now San Antonio takes it the other way. Their biggest lead of the game was 21. Moving on from this game, they're scheduled to take on the Lakers at the Staples Center. And that'll be the last game of their very short 3-game road tour. For San Antonio, they have made 3 of their first 5 foul shots tonight. That's good from Rudy Gay.
And when Gay is locked in, he's special. An efficient scorer who can effortlessly take over games.
And the foul called on Danny Green. That'll be his second foul of the game. Zach Randolph, he's checked in for Sacramento. 35 seconds left to play in the third. Labissiere, the screen. Temple dishes to Randolph. The Kings have had 2 chances at the line already, making them both. And he knocks down the first one.
Randolph was an Indiana State champion coming out of high school, so you know the pressure of the NBA doesn't bother him. There's nothing more intense than that when you talk about that Indiana high school tournament.
It's stolen by Labissiere. A nice shot by Bogdanovich.
And showing a good nose for the ball there. Picks it clean, then he's off to the races.
And a good decision on the move. Too often we see teams have this kind of opportunity and fail to convert.
Now flying high and throwing it down with the one-hander.
One of his favorite moves right there, guys. Here's Randolph. Can't hit the turnaround jumper.
That's one he knows he should have drained.
And so it's San Antonio taking a 19-point lead into the break. Their defense has been terrific in this game. We'll take a quick break and then back to the action here. Welcome back. Fourth quarter action starting up in what has been. Here's Temple. Garrett Temple is out there with Bogdanovich. And there's Carter. Then it's Zach Randolph. And it's Labissiere in at the 5 down low. That's the 5 out there for the Kings. Here's Temple. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
In the Spurs last season, how about setting the all-time record for consecutive winning seasons with 20? This is a group that's won 50 or more games in every one of those seasons except the strike-shortened one in '99.
Here's Gay. Good, and the assist goes to Gasol. And the Spurs lead by 19.
They're finding lanes to the hoop now with consistency. 5 buckets in a row from the paint.
And Temple kicks to Carter. He feeds it to Bogdanovich. Carter outside. Here's Temple. The shot off that time. Some solid defense from Gasol. And Greg, for the Spurs, they're so competitive. It's inevitable. They just win year after year.
Yeah, but that big 3 of Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, the all-time winningest trio in the history of our league, had a lot to do with it. And as that era comes to an end, they're doing a terrific job of just picking up new star talent without skipping a beat.
Randolph can't hit.
Well, they've been better than good on the glass today, and there is a glaring discrepancy between these two teams in that area.
And Gasol able to finish.
I mean, is it fair that Pau Gasol could stand on one block and rebound on the other? That's some length.
Now a timeout called by Sacramento.
And I like this timeout. You're getting terrible rim protection right now.
Well, you got to ask your team to give you a little bit more effort because there's just not a lot of fire on the defensive end.
Buddy Hield, he's checked in for Sacramento. Hill comes in for Garrett Temple. The Spurs also changing it up. LaMarcus Aldridge is checked in for Davis Bertans. Leonard comes in for Rudy Gay. And it's Ginobili in for Murray. Fouled in the act of shooting. A 3-point play chance coming up.
Impressive how Hield can take contact and still remain laser focused on finishing a play. He plays much bigger than his body.
Brent, all things being equal, do you like the idea of sending everyone to the defensive glass to avoid giving away second chance points, or do you like leaking a guy or two out in transition, hoping for the best?
I don't think the leak out is a good idea at all, Kevin. You got to have 5 guys attentive to any possession. Most coaches in the NBA will tell you that a possession is not a stop until you collect the defensive rebound. Not a stellar first half, but he's become an absolute machine scoring the ball in the second.
Leonard against Carter. Leonard kicks to Aldridge. Pass to Ginobili. Looking for Gasol. He gets it there. And Labissiere sends it back.
I have to be cautious when Labissiere is in the area. Those shot blocking skills are superb.
Kick by Randolph. Hill kicks to Randolph. Gasol with the rebound. Gasol's got his 8th rebound here tonight. Mills passes to Aldridge. And the dunk by Aldridge.
Well, this is something he's working on. A good natural leader from the point guard position wants to help out by becoming a better facilitator.
Hill kicks to Labissiere. Outside Hill. Hey, Brent, in other sports, later draft picks often become all-star level players. That seems to be much more rare in the NBA. Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure, Kevin, and there are a lot of great finds for NBA teams in the second round and even late into the second round as guys who make solid contributions not only to their team right away because they might be more mature players that are passed over because the young guys show potential. I think that scouts do a great job of finding that rare talent. Maybe they're selected a little bit more early than they would be in previous drafts. There's much more information out there for GMs to get at.
And Randolph with the basket on the assist by Hill. Hill's got 6 assists here tonight.
This guy is looking for some life preservers. He needs more help. He's playing well, but his teammates have to pick up the slack here.
And that one's good by Aldridge.
Yes, and with this one winding down, it's obvious to everyone who watched it. Just a total mismatch and a true show of strength for the Spurs.
You don't see this kind of a blowout often, but tonight this is a quality win across the board to deliver out this kind of punishment.
They definitely never changed the approach. They just kept after it and showed they were clearly the better team in just about every single category.
And this will make it 36 wins on the year for them.
And continued dominance against this team, winning both of their matchups this season.
And you know, looking back at all the contributions tonight, it was a really phenomenal all-around game for LaMarcus Aldridge.
And he was remarkable, absolutely destroyed the opposition. Any matchup he had tonight, it felt like he was going to dominate.
From deep, Richardson. Sacramento with a fresh shot clock. Kicks it to Hill. Passes to Hield. Three-pointer. Buries it from three-point range.
Yeah, watching Hield shoot is quite astonishing. He does a great job of establishing his feet as a foundation for his three-point shot.
I'll tell you, when you're the visiting team, it can be hard to maintain focus, but not tonight.
Tonight they have stuck with what they do well, handling all the exterior pressure, and they're likely to come out on top here.
It's Hill on the wing. He's covered by Murray. In transition, here come the Spurs. And it's Sacramento with the rebound. Outside Hill. And so it's San Antonio easily taking this one. This one was over well before the final buzzer. The fans were waiting for something to get excited about, Greg, but they never got it.
They sure didn't. I mean, they just rolled to this win. They made it look.
Referencing cattle's racing, devils and demons and Deuteronomy, fumigate on economy.